It's Mine by Leo Leone. In the middle of Rainbow Pond there is a small island. Smooth pebbles lined its beaches, and it was covered with ferns and leafy weeds. On the island lived 3 quarrelsome frogs named Milton, Rupert, and Lydia. They quarreled and quibbled from dusk to dawn. There's some big words on this page. Like quarrelsome? Do we have any ideas on what quarrelsome might be? It's kind of hard to figure out with all just these words in the little part that we have here in the paragraph, but we can also use the pictures. In this picture, it looks like these 2 frogs might be disagreeing, arguing. It looks like a little argument going on. So maybe we can get from that picture that quarrelsome, quibbled, and quarreled means something along the lines of fighting or arguing. And also, what is some information we know about frogs already? Looks like this whole story is going to be about Milton, Rupert, and Lydia. So let's go on and see what we can find out. "Stay out of the pond," yelled Milton. "The water is mine." "Get off the island," shouted Rupert. What's something we think he's going to say? On the last page, it was the same type of formation. It started out with stay out of the pond. The water is mine. So, get off the island. What is the island? The island is Earth. Yes. So, he said, the Earth is mine. "The air is mine," screamed Lydia, as she leaped to catch a butterfly. And so it went. One day, a large toad appeared before them. "I live on the other side of the island," he said, "but I can hear you shouting, 'It's mine, it's mine, it's mine,' all day long. There is no peace because of your endless bickering. You can't go on like this." With that, the toad slowly turned away and hopped through the weeds. So it looks like the toad here, he is definitely bigger in size than the frogs. And what's one thing we usually notice when people are taller or shorter than others? Drastically. How this toad is drastically just about the same size as all 3 of these frogs. He might be older. So he might be a little bit wiser than the 3 frogs, so they might want to take his advice. No sooner had he left than Milton ran off with a large worm. The others hopped after him. "Worms are for everyone," they cried. But Milton croaked defiantly, "Not this one." What do you think he's going to say in reply to that? "It's mine." And we know this because that scene was the title of the book, It's Mine, and it has been repeated throughout the book. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and a rumble of distant thunder circled the island. Rain filled the air, and the water turned to mud. The island grew smaller and smaller. As it was swallowed up by the rising flood, the frogs were scared. Desperately, they clung to the few slippery stones that still rose above the water. But soon, these too began to disappear. Looks like a pretty bad storm. Water's high, all the rocks are going away under the water because the water level is rising so much. A little lightning. There was only one rock left, and there the frogs huddled, trembled from the cold and fright. But they felt better now that they were together, sharing the same fears and hopes. Little by little the floods subsided. The rain fell gently, and it stopped altogether. How do you guys feel when there's a storm outside? Would you rather be like the three frogs, where they huddled together and they all were going through the same fears? Or like on the last page, when they all tried to be by themselves and all had their own rocks? Which way do you think it would be more comfortable to be? But look! The large rock that had saved them was not a rock at all. "You saved us," shouted the frogs. When they recognized... What do you think they recognized? We can use the pictures on this page and the previous pages to figure out what they recognized. If we flip back to the other page, we can notice that the color of this rock looks a little bit different than the colors of these rocks. And then when you go back to the page, you can look at the picture and notice that it is what? They recognized the toad. The next morning, the water had cleared. Sun rays chased silver minnows and sandy bottom of the pond. Joyfully, the frogs jumped in, and side by side they swam all around the island. It looks like they're having fun all together, all jumping in the water at the same time. Nobody yelling, "It's mine, it's mine." And they all have what on their faces? It looks like they're all smiling. Nobody looks angry. Together, they leaped after the swarms of butterflies that filled the air. So the air is no longer just Lydia's. The air is everybody's, all together. They're sharing it, and they're all jumping after the butterflies. And later, when they rested in the weeds, they felt happy in a way they had never been before. "Isn't it peaceful?" said Milton. "And isn't it beautiful?" said Rupert. "And do you know what else?" said Lydia. "Know what?" the others asked. "It's ours," she said. So after reading those, what is that feeling, do you think, that they had never felt before? What's the change that happened from the beginning of the book to the end of the book? That last sentence in the book, where Lydia says, "It's ours," indicates that nothing is just no longer mine. It's now ours all together, so they're sharing. And that's the book. It's Mine by Leo Lionni.